Hello and welcome to the madness. Hello, my name is Gunnarlug and I am a novice writer. Feels very weird saying that out loud. Still getting used to saying that. But, this is why I am starting this channel. The point with this channel is that I am going to tackle writing. And I'm going to document it on this channel to basically keep me on the path. Because I know how my brain works. My brain just goes, whoop, shiny. And I'm kind of tired of it. But, we all have to start somewhere. So the purpose with this channel is to document both my writing and my reading. I am rather convinced that I am insane, mainly because I decided 2 weeks ago that I am going to be participating in 2021 NaNoWriMo. I have no idea how to pronounce that. That's how much of a novice I am. I don't even know how to pronounce NaNoWriMo. Do I have a plan? Do I have equipment? Do I have a story? Yeah. Am I nervous? Yeah. Alright, so when I made the decision this year that I'm gonna be participating in NaNoWriMo, I immediately started looking for what I need to do. So I've been watching quite a few prep videos that other writers and it's so weird saying other writers. I need to get used to it. I have been looking up what other more experienced writers are recommending in preparation for participating in NaNoWriMo. Side note, if you think my accent is weird, that's because I'm Icelandic. English is not my first language, so apologies in advance, but my pronunciation is probably going to be all over. So I've been watching, gathering information about how to prepare for November. First thing to discover is that for most people participating in NaNoWriMo is that basically the entire October turns out to be Preptober. Good. And the second thing I did was look into my writing equipment and also taking some inspirational courses. For example, on Domestica. I am also looking at courses on Skillshare and thinking about masterclass, but obviously I don't need to do everything at the same time. The other thing I looked into is workbooks, notebooks and all that stuff. I have always had a notebook by my side, even when I haven't really been writing for an awfully long time. But I always have a notebook by me because I have ideas and I do write them down. So on my computer there are files and files of titles and ideas and dialogue, just never a complete story. I want to change that this year. Well, maybe not have a complete story, but at least a first zero draft. That would be fantastic. Now the notebook I've always had by my side for years. I think I started writing this one in 2015. I've always had this by my side. And how far in the past years, this is all that I've written in this book. Mind you, my writing is maybe a little small, but hey, I can write more that way. So yeah, this is my companion. This one has always been by my side for comfort. But obviously I'm gonna need more because I am going to write more. So I bought more books. Yes, I like this format of notebooks. So I'm gonna test out how I like them, what the actual difference is in the paper and duration, how they're gonna last. Tidying up the other day, I did find other notebooks that I had quite forgotten that I had. For instance, this red one. I can't remember when I bought it, but it has such a nice, like... I also found this and this. Nice enough. So, more books to fill out. I also found this one in a drawer. It's a really cute one. I got it out of a subscription box years ago. But, you know, it's such a nice notebook that I've never used it. With like lovely little lined pages. As for the story that I'm intending to write during NaNoWriMo, it is based on a very, very old idea I got. It's an idea and a concept that I made itty bitty base work on back when in 2000, I want to say 2002 or 2003, back in my early 20s, when I was surrounded by friends of the same age. And you know how it is, if you're over 20 or in your 20s, you may recognize this, that at that time in your life, you are not only discovering the world, you are figuring out that there's a lot of things that you don't know. You're learning new things and new concepts, and your humor is at a certain stage. Like you're somewhere between childhood and adulthood, and it's that nebulous phase in between, and it's weird, you know, being a teenager and young adult is weird. Particularly looking back, it's like, But in my case, I like the idea, and it stood out to me. I've been thinking about this for the past almost 20 years. Wow, time passes. But the main reason why I remember the idea and this concept of a story, because it never really evolved into a story until later on, when it's made like more preliminary work on it, is because the title was PMS Pirate Test MITS minus M plus B. And I should tell you all about where I was in my maturity levels. So in written concept, the characters, 5 of them, were based on myself, 1 of my sisters, and 3 of our shared friends. And we were learning at the time about pirates. And, you know, at that age, basically learning or taking our first steps in learning what feminism actually is. It takes decades to learn what it is, and it just is never evolving. Well, learn. You're always learning more and more about the people who come before you, people who come after you, and what the concepts actually mean. But at the time we were learning about, as I said, about pirates, and there were only 2 female pirates that we actually learned about, Mary Bonny and Anne Reid. We were learning about pirates and doing projects on pirates. And you know, when you're a group of young women learning about pirates, you do want to learn also about what were women doing at the time, what female pirates were there. And we only learned about Mary Bonny and Anne Reid. And then intervening, like 20 years time, I have learned about way more of female pirates and their exploits and their adventures and what they did. I feel that I should be able to write a fantasy story based on female pirates. Am I nervous? Yes, very, very nervous, but it's also really good nervous. Alright, so I have my notebooks. I have my inspiration. I have my basic idea. I don't have quite an outline, but I have sketched up ideas. It is the very beginning of September, so I still have time. As for resources, I specially ordered these 4 books because I'm hoping that they can help me making a story that has concrete base. Because I know, even as a novice writer, world building is very, very important to make a story readable, to make it have flavor, to, you know, be something people like to read. Because grabbing a story that doesn't really have a concrete concept or believable world pronunciation, a world that you can actually believe in, and you can feel it through the characters, through their actions, through the words, how they interact with their environment. When that is missing, the story just isn't interesting. So far, the idea with the story, and I'm gonna divulge it because, hey, it's an idea. So basically there is a queen of pirates with her rather long, complicated backstory. And she has a tumultuous, antagonistic relationship with the king of the area. They are not friends, but they are linked. This queen is called Her Phantom Majesty, which is something that my brother actually came up with years ago to explain better, bring out an idea of why we were calling it PMS. Because I know why I was calling it PMS, because TMI, I was having very, very bad cramps the very day I thought of it. I'm like, that's what I'm gonna call it. So my brother, who does know quite a bit more about like ships, he pointed out that English ships or British ships, they are called HMS, Her Majesty's ship or His Majesty's ship. So he suggested that with PMS, that could be Phantom Majesty's ship, which is why the queen was born. Ideas, they come from everywhere. So Her Phantom Majesty, she has her own court. Her ladies are all prostitutes because that really ties up a lot with pirates. And that's an idea that I want to explore. I do still want to keep it rather light. I want it to be realistic elements, but I am a major Pratchett fan, and there are certain ideas that I want to explore, but I don't want them to be central to the story being told. So, you know, the main storyline. So Her Phantom Majesty's ladies are all prostitutes, and of course Her Majesty has her own pirate army, which is where my main characters come in. They are the 5 main characters are part of a pirate crew on a ship. That is not the MITS minus M plus B. I think I'm gonna drop that. We'll see. Yeah, that rhymed. I also want to explore more with King because he's a cowardly asshole, and the things that he's done in the past are not good. I am actually starting to suspect that a lot of what the King is, I feel like a lot of it is based on, at least somewhat, on Charles IV. I don't like that king. Like, is he the least favorite king of England? I forgot to Google that. I should have maybe Googled that. I don't like him. A lot of what I don't like about him seems to be incarnated into this king, but because also with this king, he has quite a ties into the story. He is not a main character. He is an antagonist, and a lot of his past actions are a main driving force of what is happening now. I don't like him. But I have to make it understandable why he isn't likable. For the main part, for me personally, he seems to be very much based on Charles IV and Henry VIII. He isn't as bad as Henry VIII with his 6 wives, but he has his things, let's just say. He has his skeletons in the closet. He has 2 legitimate princes. Also a princess who unfortunately disappeared under mysterious circumstances years and years ago. He also has, was it 13 or 16 known illegitimate children. For example, one who is the mistress of a bishop, 2 ladies. One unfortunate illegitimate daughter was murdered by her husband and his lover. Another son is a monk. Probably the happiest child of the king is happily married and moved to a country far, far away. Another illegitimate son is actually a pirate captain who plays into the storyline. So I don't like the king, but he is an important part of the puzzle that I'm trying to make. So we'll see how this plays out. This is gonna be so much fun. I'm nervous, but I'm also excited. The main storyline is that we have these 5 main characters, all female. They're just doing their everyday thing, living their life, and then they find out that their Phantom Majesty is missing. They have to go find her, and then I'm just gonna have to find out what else happens. So I'm going to do the outlining. This is my bare bones plans. Both for NaNoWriMo and also for this channel. This channel is going to be me talking about my discoveries in writing. I don't know if I'm going to be I'm probably not going to be vlogging during November. That would be too much. Like my first year doing NaNoWriMo, I will probably need to focus on what I'm doing. I am probably insane. But also with this channel, I want to also like share my reading. I want to do more reading. Most of the books I've been reading for like the past decade have been very, very little, extremely little of fiction, which is embarrassing because I love fiction. The most I've been reading is non-fiction, which actually does help me with, you know, making the storyline. But you don't know characters unless you read about characters, and I need to do that, not just read Pratchett. This is my plan for this channel. To report on my writing, to survive NaNoWriMo, talk about non-fiction books because that's mostly what I read, to read more of fiction books because I need to do that, and talk about books. Yeah, I think that's the plan. Feeling slightly better. I also need to find my pirate flag. If you stuck with me this long, thank you very much for watching, and I will hopefully see you later. Right. Take care. Bless, bless.